Przepraszamy za drobne opóźnienie. Za chwilę zaczniemy, ale potrzebujemy jeszcze parę minut.
We're sorry for the slight delay. We shall be starting soon, but we still need a few minutes to fully prepare. I'm really sorry again, let me apologize, but please, if you could give me some more minutes.
Nadzwyczajnym walnym zgromadzeniu akcjonariuszy.
Welcome to the extraordinary general meeting of CD Projekt Group. Welcome to everyone in the room as well as those watching us in the streaming session. First, let me give the floor to a representative of Unicomp who is handling the voting at our general meeting so that you can hear just a few words of introduction to our voting methods. Thank you. At the moment of signing the attendance list, you received the tablets that will be used to cast your votes. They operate in an online format. They are connected into the system. And as you can see, they have two buttons. Your data, which has information on your representation, number of shares and votes you have for today's votes. And the second button is documents. That includes all information published by the company on its website related to this general meeting. As to the votes, you vote in the following manner. At the moment when the voting is opened, the tablet will immediately display the title as well as 3 decision buttons. You select your decision and then you confirm it and cast your vote. If you should wish to change, to amend your decision, it is also possible after you select the decision. You need to click approve on the second screen, on the screen showing the summary of the votes you intend to cast. There you'll be able to take a step back and select the decision you finally approve. Then you approve it on the next screen. Thanks so much, and if you should have any questions or situations that require our assistance, we are here for you and we will be able to assist you throughout the general meeting. Thank you so much, and now let me officially open the extraordinary general meeting of CD Projekt Group shareholders. Let me start by asking for candidates to preside over this general meeting. I would like to offer Leszek Kozierowski, attorney at law, to serve in this function. Are there any more candidates? If there are none, let us have a confidential vote on this candidate. As the chairperson, please cast your votes.
W głosowaniu tajnym oddano 60
In a secret vote, 60,463,915 valid votes were cast
915 akcji
out of
stanowiących
33 million
kapitału zakładowego.
463,915 shares and 56,705,477 were in favor. There were no against and 3,758,438 abstained. So the candidate, Mr. Koziorowski, is approved as the chairperson of this present general meeting. Please come forward.
Dzień dobry Państwu, dziękuję bardzo.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me. Let me just prepare everything I need to carry out the function. It will take some 30 seconds, 32 perhaps, and then we will continue. But I have to spread my papers out and adjust technically.
Dobrze, poproszę listę
All right,
obecności.
now let's have the attendance list.
Dziękuję.
Thank you.
Jeszcze może wydruk z systemu też.
If we may also see the attendance as printed out from the system, because this is merely the result of the vote. If I may have the separate printout, you know what I mean.
Mamy, tak, wydruk?
Do you have the printout?
Dobrze, to ja w międzyczasie
Okay, in the meantime then,
będę kontynuował.
let me continue.
Szanowni Państwo,
Ladies and gentlemen,
może zacznę od tego, że dzisiejsze
how
nasze
about we start
zgromadzenie
with stating that our today's general meeting requires minutes as a notary deed. This deed will be drafted by Mr. Robert Błaszczak, notary public here in the room. He will monitor our general meeting and draft the minutes that we will hopefully jointly sign at the end of the meeting, but it's all up to the notary.
już formalna.
Second formality, we are now at item 3 of our agenda, that is determining that the general meeting has been validly convened and is empowered to undertake binding decisions. Under this, I am obliged to declare as follows. First of all, the general meeting has been convened. It's a public company. It has been convened under Article 4.2.1 of the Commercial Companies Code, that is over 26 days before the date. It was convened on the 2nd of March, today it's the 17th of April, and it was convened in 2 formats with the current report.
Dobra. W formie raportu bieżącego numer 9.
For the current report 9/2023 and 10/2023. The current report 9/2023 was the act formally convening the general meeting, and number 10 contained the draft resolutions for today's general meeting. This is in line with the requirement of 402.1 article of the Commercial Code, the Companies Code, and also on the website under the information about the company tab. It was also published on the 2nd of March, and the announcements contained, just like I said, the agenda and the draft resolutions. Now a technical note so that we could proceed later on. If there are no comments or observations or questions for modifications on your part, we shall vote on resolutions as published in report 10/2023 without any interference in the content published in the aforementioned current report. Obviously, if any alternatives are to be introduced, then I will be notifying you according to what happens. But if there are no amendments made, the content of the resolutions will be just as published. Hence, I will not be reading the full content, not to unduly delay the votes. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to declare the attendance at the present session, but the technical staff asked for a minute of delay, so I will refrain from that for the time being, because some system configuration or calculations are still taking place, so we shall soon receive information that is to be contained under item 3, that is determining the validity of a general meeting convention, which I'm obliged to quote for the minutes, for notarized minutes. So let me now go silent for a moment, and we shall sit in this uncomfortable silence, as I'm not going to sing at this point. And in the meantime, taking advantage of this moment, let me also let you know that by opening and closing votes, I will ask that you receive the results displayed on your tablets. I will also read them out. They will also probably be displayed on the screen behind me here. I will not be printing them out. We will be picking them up off our tablets. And then once the general meeting completes, we will print these results separately for the purpose of the notarial deed in a table format, so that it's easier to read them and verify them for the purposes of the minutes while the minutes are being generated.
No dobrze, to jeszcze w międzyczasie, bo o tym nie powiedziałem, ja też powinien...
And one more thing I have not mentioned, though I should have.
Łącznie chciałem z informacją o stanie obecności.
I originally wanted to mention this together with the information on attendance. In the meantime, I signed the attendance list for the present general meeting, extraordinary general meeting. It's just that I'm not able yet to say how many shares are being represented at the present meeting, but the attendance lists have been signed by me myself already, and they will constitute an annex to the minutes of the general meeting, as they are a formal requirement under the law as an annex to the general meeting minutes. If any of you should like to receive a copy of this list, then during the general meeting you have it available and you are able to review it. Commercial Companies Code provides this right to all participants of the general meeting. If you should wish so, the signed lists are laid out here. Please make sure they don't leave this desk or connected desks, if I may call them this way. But if you should wish to use your right, feel free to do so.
Możemy informacje prosić, ile?
How long do we still need? 1 minute. All right, let me take my stopwatch.
No dobrze, żeby to tak...
All right, so
Ja lubię gadać, przepraszam, no, taka moja rola.
I like talking, that's my role, just as well. So in the meantime, as to the next items on the agenda, most of the resolutions today require a 4/5 or a 3/4 majority. So each and every time we shall
Osiągnąć.
test whether that majority is achieved, and I will let you know at each resolution which majority is required to have them passed. The remaining ones require 60%. 3 resolutions require a mere 60% of votes in favor, as in accordance with the Articles of Association. It's paragraph 25. 3/5 of votes cast is the majority required to adopt resolutions, so we're not like all other companies that just require a regular majority. At CD Projekt, we require 60% of votes cast to be in favor for a resolution to pass, not just a half, the proverbial half.
Nie, rozumiem, już wiem, co zrobię. Tak, jeszcze raz proszę, już mówię, co chodzi. Chyba się pomyliłem, nie chcę wchodzić w jakiś błąd, tak? Natomiast oni twierdzą, że głosowanie w tym pierwszym pomyłkowym się podpisało. W związku z tym tutaj jest 0, więc jeszcze raz poproszę o odczytanie. Wszystko zmieniło. Tak, po prostu ja powiem. Więc szanowni... Nie, już informuję. Szanowni Państwo,
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have just been informed
że w systemie się po prostu wczytały niewłaściwe,
that in the system
niewłaściwa ilość akcji.
we simply had the wrong number of shares. That is why the result of the first vote was read incorrectly. I mean, it was printed incorrectly. So I would like Adam Kiciński to read the correct vote again and to display the correct result so that you are aware of the final and the real result of the vote. Thank you. So that was the vote electing the chairperson of the general meeting, a secret ballot. 56,705,476 votes were cast out of 56,705,476 shares, which constitute 56.27, and the number is longer, but I will not continue, of the share capital. In favor, 56,705,476 votes, no votes against, and no abstentions, which means that in total 56,705,476 votes were cast, and they were all votes in favor, which means that the result is exactly the same. but better.
Procentowo lepszy.
Yes, the percentage is higher,
Znacznie
but the difference
tego,
is
co
slight
przedtem przeczytałem.
when compared to what I read previously.
bardzo.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Kontynuując w takim razie
So let us continue
obrady, stwierdzam w ramach
our
tego punktu
general
trzeciego ostatnią rzecz, która mi pozostała.
meeting.
To
The
jest,
last element of
stan obecności, który wynika z naszej
point 3
listy obecności.
is the attendance according to our attendance list. So
Reprezentowanych jest 56
56,705,476 shares are represented in the general meeting and the same number of votes, which is 56.27% of the share capital of the company, because the total share capital is 100,770,800 shares and zlotys, because one share equals to one zloty. And that was the final declaration
natomiast na podstawie tych
for the minutes.
wskazuje, że
But based on those declarations,
prawidłowy
I
jest zdolny do
can determine that the general meeting has been validly convened and is empowered to undertake binding decisions according to the agenda.
obrad i możemy
So we're closing point 3 of today's general meeting, and we can move on to the next points of our agenda. So we're moving on to point 4, obviously, the approval of general meeting agenda. And in that point, you have resolution number 2 in your materials on the adoption of the general meeting agenda. Do you have any comments?
nie widzę. Szanowni Państwo,
I see none.
poddaję pod głosowanie uchwałę numer
Let us
2
then vote on resolution number 2 on the approval of general meeting agenda as published in the current report number 10/2022. Let's move on to the vote. Please use your tablets to vote. Should you have any problems, technical problems when voting, please report them immediately and we will react accordingly.
głosowanie.
So I open the vote.
I jeżeli wszyscy z Państwa mieli okazję oddać swoje głosy,
Have you all
wkładam to za
been able to vote? So I close the vote and please display the results directly on the screen. You will also see it on your tablets and on my tablet as well. It should be visible so that I can officially read it out.
Dziękuję. Stwierdzam, że uchwała została jednomyślnie przyjęta.
Thank you. We have a unanimous decision, which means that 56,705,476 votes were cast. Everybody was in favour, so no votes against, which means that we will proceed accordingly in line with the general meeting agenda as published in the publication 9/2023. Obviously, I correct myself now because I said 2022. Says the chairman. So we're moving on to point number 5, the adoption of a resolution repealing resolution number 6 of the extraordinary general meeting of the 20th of December 2023 concerning the institution of an incentive program for the financial years 2023 to 2027. Here, the management board has suggested the resolution number 4, number 3. The chairman corrects himself. Number 3 in your materials. Do you have any comments, proposals, suggestions, declarations with regard to resolution number 3? I see none. So prepare the system for the vote, please. Here the required majority is 60% in line with paragraph 25 of the company statute. Is the system ready?
Zarządzam głosowanie.
So I open the vote.
Jeżeli wszyscy z Państwa oddali swoje
Has
głosy,
everybody voted?
głosuję, to stwierdzam, że
No objections in the room.
zamykam głosowanie.
So I close the vote. And please display the results, and thank you for casting your votes.
Stwierdzam, że uchwała została jednomyślnie.
I hereby announce that it was unanimously approved. Let us move on to point number 6 of today's agenda. And here we have a resolution number 4 this time, repealing Resolution 5 of the Extraordinary General Meeting of the 20th of December 2023 concerning the cancellation of the 2020-2025 incentive program, repealing the relevant General Meeting resolutions and amending the company articles accordingly. This resolution needs a majority of 4/5, which means 80%, but before we open the vote, I will ask as usual, do you have any questions, suggestions? I see none. Let us prepare the system for the vote. The system is ready. I open the vote.
Dziękuję Państwu
Thank you
za oddawanie głosów. Zamykam
for
głosowanie.
casting your votes, and I close the vote. Please display the results.
Dziękuję. Stwierdzam, że uchwała została przyjęta. No tak było.
Thank you. Adopted.
28
55.
Przeciw głosów nie było. Wstrzymało się 1
55,628,627 votes in favour, which means that we have the required majority of 4/5 of the total number of votes, and much more than that.
Przechodzimy do punktu 7.
Moving on to point number 7.
Mamy podjęcie uchwały w
We have the adoption of a resolution concerning the institution of Incentive Programme A for the financial years 2023 to 2027. Here, the Management Board has prepared and published in the current report number 10 the resolution number 5. Yes, that's correct, number 5.
Ktoś z Państwa chciałby zabrać głos?
Would anyone like to take the floor?
Dziękuję, nie widzę. W takim razie bardzo proszę o przygotowanie systemu.
No one. Let us then prepare the system.
Większość 60%.
Here we need a majority of 60% of the votes cast. So please cast your votes.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you.
Zamykam głosowanie.
And I close the vote. Please display the results.
Stwierdzam, że uchwała w proponowanym kształcie została przyjęta.
The resolution was adopted. We have 49,047,048 votes in favour and 7,658,428 votes against. No abstentions, which means 86.49% of the share capital, which means much more than the required majority. And that means that the resolution has been adopted as suggested. Let us move on to the next point on our agenda, that is point 8, which is a direct consequence of the resolution that we've just adopted. And here we have another resolution, which is resolution number 6. In your material, it's a very long title, but we're basically talking about the issuance for the purposes of implementing Incentive Programme A, subscription warrants, and the exclusion of preemption rights for existing shareholders. You have this resolution with an annex. Would anyone like to take the floor? I see no one, so let us move on to the vote. We need 4/5 of the total number of votes cast in favour, because that's the majority required for the exclusion of preemption rights. I open the vote. Thank you. I close the vote. Please display the results.
Dziękuję. Stwierdzam, że uchwała została przyjęta.
Thank you. The resolution has been adopted. 49,047,048 votes were cast in favour, 7,658,428 against, no abstentions, 86.49% of the share capital in favour of this resolution.
No, konsekwentnie ta sama większość głosów.
We have exactly the same majority as for the previous resolution, which means the whole incentive program A was adopted. We're now moving on to the next incentive program in point 9 and 10. In point 9, we have the adoption of a resolution concerning the institution of incentive program B for the financial years 2023-2027.
Uchwała numer 7.
And that's resolution number 6 in the current report number 10/2023
W sprawie właśnie wprowadzenia programu
on
operacyjnego B na
the institution of incentive program B for the financial years 2023-2027. As I said, would anyone like to comment on that?
W takim razie
No one.
poddam uchwałę pod głosowanie. Ta uchwała
So we will
ponownie, jak
vote
w serii głosowań,
that resolution, again a majority of 60%
60% obecnych, przepraszam,
of the number of votes cast
aby była przyjęta. Bardzo proszę o
for it to be adopted. Please cast your votes.
Dziękuję. Rozumiem, że wszyscy
Thank you.
głosowali.
I understand that everybody has voted, so I close
Bardzo
the
proszę o
vote
prezentację wyników.
and please display the results.
Stwierdzam, że uchwała w proponowanym kształcie została
I announce
przyjęta.
that the resolution was adopted. 48,007,084 votes in favour, 84.66% of the share capital, and 8,698,392 votes against, no abstentions, which means that the resolution was adopted as suggested, more than 80% of the total number of votes. But only 60% were required, while the next resolution requires 80% of the votes. Another executive resolution to the resolution that we've just adopted. And here we're going to vote on the resolution, which you will find in your materials in the current report number 10, as resolution number 8. Would anyone like to comment on this resolution?
W takim razie, szanowni
No one.
państwo, oczywiście opinia zarządu również została w
Obviously,
materiałach
you also have the opinion of the management board in your materials
poboru.
on the exclusion of preemption rights.
Bardzo proszę o głosowanie.
Please cast your votes. The system is ready.
Dziękuję.
Thank you.
Proszę o wyniki.
Please display the results.
Stwierdzam, że uchwała w proponowanym kształcie została przyjęta.
The resolution has been adopted as proposed. 48,019,956 in favour, 8,685,520 against, nobody abstained, so there were 56 point something of 86 point something percent votes in favour, more than required. Hence, the general meeting adopted both motivational program, as this completes the block of votes related to motivational programs.
Gratuluję walnemu zgromadzeniu.
My congratulations on all the resolutions adopted to the present general meeting. I guess that's important.
Przechodzimy do punktu 11.
And now moving on to item 11, that is adoption of a resolution concerning redemption of the company's own shares.
Czyli w punkcie następnym będzie wymagał
This
czwartych głosów.
and the next resolution requires 3/4 according to Article 415 of the Code of Commercial Companies, that also amends the Articles of Association, hence it also would require 3/4. But now we're at item 11, and the draft resolution is resolution number 9 out of the current report number 10 on the redemption of the company's own shares. Would anyone wish to ask questions, comment, or offer any modifications?
Szanowni Państwo,
No one is raising their hands, so
że tak powiem satelitarnych.
unless there is someone wishing to take the floor out of the remote participants pool, as this is a hybrid format, then
Przejdziemy po prostu do
Let us move straight to the vote. That's resolution number 9. Let's cast our votes. Please cast your votes.
Stwierdzam, że uchwała została jednomyślnie przyjęta.
The resolution was adopted unanimously.
Tym samym możemy przejść do punktu 12.
Hence, we are able to move to item 12, that is an adoption of a resolution concerning lowering of the company's share capital and amending the company articles of association. Under this last substantive item on our agenda, this is a resolution lowering of the company's share capital and amending the company articles. That is resolution number 10 in report number 10. Does anyone wish to ask questions, take the floor, comment, offer modifications? This is your last chance to take the floor at today's general meeting. You will be able to take the floor later on, but that won't constitute a part of the general meeting anymore. So this is your last chance. But if nobody wishes, well, please cast your votes. That's also a form of taking the floor, in a sense. Let me just remind you that a three-fourth majority is required for this resolution to be adopted. And I understand that everybody cast their votes already, so let me close the vote and let us see the results. The resolution was adopted unanimously. Let me just remind you at the end that this unanimity meant today 56,705,476 votes in favor of the resolution. Hence, the general meeting today has adopted all the resolutions drafted by the company board. And now let me take advantage of item 13 of our agenda and conclude the deliberations of the present general meeting. We won't be able to talk formally anymore, hence let me conclude the session. Thank you so much. And now let me just say a few words, if I may. Let me thank to all the shareholders for their support for the company and this program of ours. This is a significant tool for us to implement our ambitious strategy. And thank you for your feedback just as well, because we received a lot of it from you, from the market representatives here. That feedback helped us adjust this program so that it will receive your approval. I would also like to thank to the team that processed the feedback and drafted the program. Thank you so much.